What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Toronto Sports Guy. Today we have Italy Jet on to talk about Toronto FC on Let's Talk Toronto FC. Mr. Jet, big game that we just had on the weekend at home to who did we play? Oh yeah, Charlotte FC.
There you go.
Yeah, man, it's been a bit of an interesting start to the week. I already almost forgot who we played. It was a little bit of a boring game too. Thoughts on the game? Let's just go right into it.
Man, there were some good things about it. There were some horrible things about it. Like overall, like you could see the depth that we have. Like it's really like the young guys are starting to come in. Marshall Ruddy's coming in good as well. I love her goalie. Like I said, there's a lot of pros and cons, and plus you don't have the Insigne back, and you don't have your top forward back as well. So, it's just going to be really interesting to see how Bob Bradley presents himself moving forward. Oh, Orlando, what's up? I know you. What's up, man? How are you doing? Good to see you, my friend.
Let's go. Getting some crossover viewers already going on here. Yeah, it is. Oh, Orlando's got a question. Go right ahead.
Okay, go for it. What's your question? If he
responds in time.
It's okay. It happens. How do you feel about Italy banning? He knows. That's the thing. He knows how I feel about it. So I went on a rant about it the other day, and it did not feel good at all. And I mean, we won against Malta, but whatever, man. I've been trying to get Mancini out forever. So
yeah.
It's just one day at a time. But that was embarrassing. I like the future that we have for Italy, though. Love the future. But right now, it is what it is.
Yeah, that roster is in a bit of a team's in a bit of a turnover, but they should have called up Bernardeschi, honestly. Thank God for Toronto FC that they didn't.
Oh, thank God. Oh my gosh, we would have been screwed.
Yeah. Especially if MLS playing through the roster windows. But on to back to Charlotte, that game. That game was absolutely wild because of the wind situation down at BMO Field. Bernardeschi with an Olympico off the corner. I believe that's the first Olympico in Toronto FC history. And literally, like, I don't think I've seen this a couple of times, but to have a game where like it's one team dominates one half and then the other team dominates the other half purely just because of the wind, those are always just so bizarre to see, and it never really gives a good game for like kind of judging the course of the season or like judging how a team's going, especially when like a team's in flux to start the season. But that is just a wild match, and a wild match kind of used in a measuring stick game.
I mean, it's one of those things where even though the weather, and that's what happens with Toronto FC in the beginning of the season, the weather is just horrible around this time of year for Toronto. And right now, it's just going to, I hope it dies down eventually, and I think it will. But like a home opener, it's always rough in the beginning. Oh, yeah. And like you could see the talent that we have. It's just we need a few more pieces and a few more depth. I mean, look at Cervinia. We got him for that Jimenez trade.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Marshall Ruddy's kicking butt right now. I mean, even Kerr is coming up big in certain situations. Kay and Larea are even coming up big. I love our defense. I love our goalie. It's just we just need a few more pieces and we'll be fine.
Yeah, no, Larea has been absolutely fantastic to start the season, especially. And Cervania, great. Cervania fills up the hole that, like, ever since Marky Delgado left, we've kind of been looking for a Brandon Cervania to come in. Like, we never filled the hole of Marky Delgado leaving until, I guess, this season, finally.
I agree. We haven't had someone like Delgado, even Vasquez when he was there. You know, now he's here in his, you know, he's a little older. You know, he wants to retire a Toronto FC person. But I think for me, replacing Delgado and how Bradley is just getting older and just looks like a grandpa out there. You knew when we were in trouble, and you had to put Osorio up front. It's like, oh, this is not good for the midfield. Oh, so bad.
Especially with Osorio having to play left wing with Insigne out injured. Like, it's if only we had Jacob Schaffelberg right now, because this would have been like perfect situation. And Schaffelberg's tearing it up with Nashville. He's been incredible for them.
It's true. It's
like what this team is missing is a Schaffelberg, which we had and gave away.
You know, people keep telling me, like, what's the problem with the youth of Toronto FC? And I keep telling people that's not the problem. The problem is not the talent. Canadians in the last, I would say 5 years, even 4 or 5 years, we have produced a great young talent. We just don't know how to use it correctly in Toronto. And we haven't been producing it even to put them in the right position. And they're so much better when they're away from us, because our youth academy is great. I think we have a good youth academy, but we just don't play the strengths and weaknesses. And that's why Toronto FC's academy plays better somewhere else than Toronto.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the problem with the academy has always been the final step. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, but whoever, like, with the first team that's involved with getting, like, the youth prospects out of TFC2 and into the first team isn't really good at identifying the talent there, because, like, we've had so many guys in the youth academy who have gone on to be great. Like, Mark-Anthony Kaye, he's back now, but he was a TFC academy guy that they didn't sign to a pro contract. He walked, went to USL, became great in the USL Championship, went to LAFC, became a MLS star, and then we had to pay out the ass to get him back. And even right now, Jason Russell-Rowe with Columbus, he was another TFC guy who we decided not to sign to TFC2 for whatever reason, thought he wasn't good enough, and he goes to Columbus Crew 2, is the top scorer in MLS Next Pro in the first season of that league, and now is in MLS at a time where TFC is desperately looking for a striker, and there was a guy that we had that we decided wasn't good enough. And, like, the academy obviously is great. TFC2 and MLS Next Pro last season were a very, very good squad. They were one of the better teams in the league. So there's just a disconnect with getting those guys out of the academy and into a position where they can play effectively in Major League Soccer.
It's not only that, like, even when Lawrence came back, like, and then we had another guy that came back, right? Was it Williams? No, center back last year.
Center back.
What's his name?
Not Salcedo.
No, not Salcedo. No. He was with us. He's on the Canadian national team too. I forgot. He's a center back.
Daniil Henry.
Henry, not Williams. Yes. My bad. But
yes.
No, you're correct on everything you said. And even when Lawrence and Henry came back, man, we were so bad still, and it just didn't click. Like, they were good with us in the beginning, and then for some reason we didn't sign them back, and then now it's like the young talent is starting to pick up. And I agree with Orlando what he's saying. Mr. Paul, I wanted Paul to work out here too, but it just didn't happen.
Paul Rothrock, the guy who randomly appeared in that game against Seattle Sounders at one time.
Facts.
That was he was an appearance out of nowhere, but he definitely was another guy who I'm very interested to see what happens with him going forward, because that, again, is another potential TFC misstep.
Ain't that the truth?
So I wanted to talk about regarding the last game, Richie Laryea starting at left back and Jahkeele Marshall-Rutty starting at right back, because obviously at the international window game when Laryea was away on international duty, Marshall-Rutty put up a team of the week performance. Was absolutely fantastic that game, and so back in the starting lineup against Charlotte. And Raul Petretta, back from injury, not starting against Charlotte in that match. How do you feel about putting Richie Laryea at left back in order for Jahkeele Marshall-Rutty to get minutes?
As much as I love Paquata, he's a great left back, and I really do like him a lot. Italian guy. He did pretty good in Serie A, and he's done pretty good in everywhere he's gone. But I think right now it was necessary. It was necessary to, especially against Charlotte. I think it was necessary to put Larea there. Marshall Ruddy getting him enough minutes because Europe keeps calling.
Yep.
Knock, knock, and he can be a good force if he gets to Europe, and also he could be a great force even staying here and can get him more minutes to even be in the national team. And right now, keep soaking those minutes, man. Keep doing it. These both players are playing at a very high level, and for once, I actually agree with Bob Bradley.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It's super hard. It's so hard.
It's hard, but when you start agreeing with him, you know that, hey, something's actually gone right there.
Yeah, I know, right? Either gone wrong or gone right.
Yeah,
for me, it's both.
Especially too with Christian Gutierrez having a bit of an illness too, but we haven't seen him play. The left back position gets crowded if Larea starts playing there consistently. But the problem with Marshall Ruddy right now is not that he's not capable, it's that he just happens to play on the right side, which is our most crowded position, because Bernardeschi's the right winger. Marshall Ruddy's never going to get a chance to play above him. And at right back, he has to knock out Richie Larea, who is just absolutely incredible and has been consistently our second best player all season behind Bernardeschi. So
I agree.
If that's what it takes if it takes Larea at left back to get Marshall Ruddy minutes, I mean, the problem too is Larea isn't as good at left back as he is at right back. Like, he still influences the game and all that, but he's not as dominant on the left side as he is on the right side. But it's almost as though Larea on the left side is slightly better than Petretta, and Marshall Ruddy on the right side. Like, Larea on the left side and Marshall Ruddy on the right side is better than Larea on the right side and Petretta on the left side, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. I think it's going to come down to the more talent we put together. Like, this team deserves to go on a run, and we got to win now with some of these players that we have. And especially with the couple young guys we picked up off waivers as well, Gutierrez, and I forgot the other guy. But we picked him up off waivers, and I hope it works out, and I think it will. But overall, we need to win. We need to close out games. That's the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, the blowing leads has been an issue this whole season already. It's not, especially after how much our defense let us down last year. It's not fun to see. It's not fun to see leads being blown.
Not at all, and it can't keep happening like that, or we're gonna be screwed.
Oh yeah. Also, on the same level of things that need to change, Ayo Akinola. Yeah. So we start off the season with three strikers. We start off the season with Jesus Jimenez, Adama Diomande, Ayo Akinola, and then also we have DeAndre Kerr, Peruzza as well.
Really?
We still have Jordan Peruzza, and we have Hugo Mbonge as well. There's 6 strikers in the Toronto FC. Well, there was 6 strikers. Of course, we traded Jesus Jimenez for Cervania.
That needed to happen, though.
That needed to happen because it was starting to get. It was an overcrowded position of number 2 strikers. We don't have a number 1 striker yet, but then Diomande gets hurt. And now we're down to Kerr comes back from injury. Diomande got hurt at about the same time. Akinola had a brief injury. Didn't he miss 1 or 2 games because of an injury?
Yes.
Yes.
You're correct.
And then gets called up to the Canadian national team, puts in a good performance against Honduras, gets an assist on the Osorio goal, and now he's back in this match. And I don't know. I didn't think he was that great this match. What do you think?
No, not at all. Looks like he's got some weight issues too. Like, he just doesn't look fit from the guy that I used to watch all the time. He was killing it. And maybe it's the injuries, maybe it's the weight, maybe it's the confidence, but he puts in a good performance in Canada. I was really shocked because I was like, this is him.
Yeah.
Where's he been? He should start. If it's that, he should do a good performance. But no, I am really worried about the striker position, and I was not worried about it before. I was not. I've only been worried about the midfield. That's always the only concern I was worried about.
Yeah, no, he had a bit of a flashback to 2021 Akinola against Honduras for Canada. But no, for TFC all season, his first touch has been terrible. His speed isn't where it was. Like I flashbacks to the MLS's back tournament when he was like running past two Montreal defenders, getting on a ball and putting it home. Like he had 5 goals in the first 2 games of that MLS's back tournament, and that kind of was it in terms of like that built up the hype for him to be absolutely kind of like massive, and he just hasn't lived up to it or done anything on that level since then. And yeah, it just seems like he's fallen off. But then we put on DeAndre Kerr in the second half because Bob Bradley's favorite thing to do this season has been change like for like strikers, hoping it makes a difference. At one point, he did it twice in one game. But Kerr at least had one great back heel play to Bernadeschi that Bernadeschi wasn't able to finish on. But I watched that one play and I was like, Akinola never makes that pass. Akinola never makes that touch right now. So is it a run DeAndre Kerr until the summer transfer window, or is Kerr not even good enough to consider regularly playing him?
I say keep them both and just keep switching off until the injuries come back. Because the thing is, you got to go with the hot hand. Kerr was hot. Akinola, if he steps up, he's going to go to Akinola. But we definitely need another striker, and we definitely need another midfield. But you got to go with the hot hand for now because you have no choice. We could pick up a guy off waivers, but even the waivers guys don't work out sometimes. So for me, you got to go with the hot hand, and then when the transfer window comes, you reassess then. Because right now, we need to focus on getting these wins, getting these guys playing time, and get this situation together because Insigne and Diamande need to come back. And when they come back, this team is going to change. I really do think this team will change when they come back. So, and Osorio can go back to his spot, but for right now, you got to go with the hot hand. You got to keep switching him out because he's going to do good one game. He's going to do bad another game. Got to go with the hot hand.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the season was I was like, if a guy scores, he starts the next game. If he doesn't score, rotate it. That's what you got to do with these strikers, especially right now when we have, again, like a collection of number 2A, 2B strikers in MLS, but no 1A striker to put in a lineup.
I agree 100%.
Oh, yeah. Alonso Coelho Camarero. The Spanish TFC2 guy that we've been calling up the past 2 games. He started against San Jose in the international window game, and he got subbed on against Charlotte. I thought he's been pretty good, but I think it's interesting that he's playing in the midfield over Kosi Thompson. I think I kind of want to touch on what do we think is going on with Kosi Thompson, a guy who seemed like, regardless of what he did last season, couldn't get removed from the starting 11, now can't seem to touch the pitch. And for a young player, that's weird.
I mean, isn't that the TFC way? Isn't that what always happens with these guys? It's so weird because now I understand you got to go with a hot hand. You got to go with people that are going to be good right now. But for him to do that, it's just going to – I just want to know if Thompson is going to be okay going down the stretch. Like, is this going to be an issue? Because TFC, when these rookies come on or when they've been here for like a season or two, you see a downfall. And I don't know if it's like the minutes. I don't know if it's the tactics. But this doesn't surprise me from Thompson because if this continues, it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. No, he's a guy who he needs minutes. He's just turned 20 in January. Like he's he is a very young player and a guy who has a lot of potential. He made 28 appearances last season as a 19-year-old for Toronto FC. Like that's a lot of matches to give a 19-year-old. And now you're calling it like the fact that Bob Bradley is trusting now a guy who's 23, had never played at the professional level prior to last season, and his only professional experience was in MLS Next Pro, and you're choosing that guy over you're choosing that guy over the 3-year younger guy with a whole season of MLS experience. It's a bizarre choice, and like nothing against Coelho. Coelho has been great. Like in the first 2 games, he's surprised me with how he's performed. I thought it was going to be like he was going to look out of depth in MLS when he got called up. But no, he's been good. It's just that I really would have liked to see Kosi Thompson.
I agree. And also, I think now when you give that kid such a big jump, if you're not going to play him, put him on loan. If you're not going to play him, do more things to get him involved because he's a top prospect. Now, I'm okay with Coelho. I think we need to do it because we have injuries right now, and I think it's cool for him. But overall, is that the situation we need to go to this early? Because if we don't figure out something soon, we could miss the playoffs, and I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody wants to do that. So we don't need the last year thing to pick up again this year when you have a good team in the starting lineup. So they better figure it out fast.
Yeah, they definitely need to sort out who's actually like who some of these guys in the team are. Like that international players game forced the hand of quite a few of these TFC2 guys to come up. I really want Kosi Thompson to get it together. Like, I really want Kosi Thompson to have a good season, though. I feel like he's a guy who, especially given the lack of depth we had in the midfield, this should be like a huge season for Kosi Thompson. So the fact that he hasn't even really had a solid chance yet, like, I want to see him have a chance, and I don't want it like us to wait so long that now all of a sudden, when we're finally giving Kosi Thompson a chance, it is a playoff implication game that we're looking at. Like get him into it earlier so that the later games when things, I mean, every game matters, but in the later games when things really are starting to matter, like in this do or die, you're not throwing in a Kosi Thompson who's barely played.
No time for experimenting if we're gonna make the playoffs. There's no time for that.
Yeah,
like, get it right now, figure it out, and next man up always.
Oh yeah, exactly. I want to touch on one more thing about the Charlotte game, though, and that is the Apple TV start times. TFC Twitter's favorite thing to complain about. Now you're in St. Louis, so you're not that in touch with the weather going on here, but. You were talking. You mentioned it earlier, though, how TFC always has a bit of a rough start at the start of the season, especially with the weather. And this season, it's definitely been exaggerated due to the fact that all our start times are in the evening now for Apple TV, and also that the there just aren't that many fans there. Even watching the games, the stadium looks half empty. More than half empty in all the games outside of the south end, and yet TFC's reporting the third highest attendances in MLS because it's all season ticket holders who aren't going.
Interesting, because like all the games that have been like, I know they were on ESPN Plus. I know you guys got TSN, right?
Yeah.
TSN. So like every time I look, it's always seemed packed last year. But this year, so last year it was always either in the middle of the day or at nighttime.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, oh, it's at night. Oh my gosh. I or it was during the day where I'm like, oh, it's during the day. Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, I like it consistently at night now. I mean, that's just me because it works with my schedule, but I do understand TFC. I do understand Canadians when it comes to that certain level, but do you like what Apple's doing or no? I'm guessing no.
No. So especially in the winter game. So I went to the game against Miami. I was there and it was absolutely freezing. Like it was too cold to comfortably be at a soccer game. Now I go because I'm insane and I was at the Canada games in Edmonton when it was in a snowstorm. But
hey, why not?
Yeah, but a lot of people, especially outside of the South End, are not going to go and sit in the cold. And sit in the cold when it's dark, and in Toronto in March, especially in March during the day, it's like 10 to 15 degrees outside. It's nice. It's sunny. It's nice to be outside. You get to the evening though. You get to nighttime, and when the sun goes down, they're looking at -1 or whatever. It's not pleasant to be outside in that situation.
Yeah,
and
I
so
get it.
And so a lot of there definitely has been a decrease in people going. If you check the Ticketmaster resale market before the games, it's a lot of people reselling their tickets. You check the subreddit, a lot of people trying to give away their tickets for free right before the game now because it gets the game. Yeah, it gets the game day. You realize, and people realize, it's too cold, and I've been seeing tickets go for as cheap as $20 on the secondhand market that people spend over $50 on. Yeah. Wow. So so my concern is that this is going to result in less people buying season tickets in future seasons because they're going to realize that I paid for 17 games and I missed the first 3 or 4 at the beginning of the season.
Okay. I guess I'm just so used to night games here. I think I'm just because of the time difference, I'm just so used to all that. And I like it. I like it better, but I know everyone's used to one thing and then they don't go to another thing. Like you just see St. Louis, all their games, it's always sold out. So I think it's just because we're used to something like this at nighttime because it can interfere with the Cardinals, XFL, and the Blues sometimes during the same time frame. So I guess for me, I'm not used to that. I think it's great for me, but for you guys, I totally get it. When you're so used to something and then it's taken away from you, and now it's like, oh, okay, now I gotta change it up, and I'm not gonna like this. Oh, am I gonna go? Am I gonna bring my family? I got to worry about my kid. I got to do this. I get it.
Yeah. Also, I would like to point out that right now in St. Louis, it is 21 degrees Celsius, whereas in Toronto, it is, tonight it's 9, so it's warm, but on the weekend, it was 1 or 2.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
So it's not a comfortable time to be out at night. It's a comfortable time to be out of the day. And that's typically why TFC usually in March would have afternoon games and in the summer would have evening games because the weather here is incredibly important to how comfortable it is to go out to see a game.
Oh, well, hey, there you go. I learned something new every day. I knew it was freezing. I didn't know how freezing it was.
Oh no, it can be bad sometimes.
Because I'll even be like, hey, I'm gonna go to home opener in Toronto, and people are like, don't do that. No, it's a bad idea. Go in the summertime. Go in the summertime. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, there's a reason why even now the Blue Jays are always start their season on the road. When's the Blue Jays' first home game? They don't play at home until April 11th. So there you go. The Blue Jays the Blue Jays start their season a whole month later. Their first 3 whole series are on the road.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch. Don't play in Canada. It's not good to play in Canada outdoors until mid-April. And that's even southern Canada. Once you get further north, May.
All right. And note to self if I ever go pro. If I ever go pro, I'll note to self.
Yeah, oh yeah. So overall, I think that's what we mostly wanted to talk about that game. beginning of the season, though, our takeaways from the first 6 games so far: 1 win, 4 draws, 1 loss. Somehow, actually, this is the same record that we had through 6 games in 2017.
Yeah.
Doesn't look the same, though. Doesn't look and doesn't feel the same.
I mean, I know when you have a rough start, things could change in the summertime and you can maybe make the playoffs. Like sometimes you just got to figure it out. We do got a lot of new players. Everyone's trying to mesh injuries. Like I get it. Like we're going through it right now. We got a great starting lineup. It's just our backups are just not that deep unless your defense or goalkeeping for us. We have a great backup goalie. We got great backup defenders, but overall, if you're a mid and forward when healthy, you got some guys, but it's definitely missing. But overall, if we continue to go down in the slump, then it's like, okay, now we should start worrying again. Don't want to do that. Figure it out. Let's do it.
Exactly. Bernardeschi has been absolutely incredible, though, and he's quietly putting up what could be an MVP caliber season in MLS.
It's like Pozuelo. I mean, it's like what he was on, and that's why I think we traded Jimenez, because Jimenez was not good with like when he was with Pozuelo, he was really good, but when he was without him, it was bad. And that's why when you trade him for a midfield, it's like that caliber thing. Pozuelo makes people better, and that's why Bernardeschi is doing the same thing. And once you get Insigne back, it's going to be just as great. The only thing is with Insigne, he had an injury. Even coming here, he had an injury. But Bernardeschi, like, I don't know what happened, because in the Euros, he wasn't even doing that great. And then we came to Toronto FC, it's like, oh, I'm a superstar again. It's crazy.
Bernardeschi has definitely had a bit of a Giovinco moment coming to Toronto FC, whereas whereas Insigne, that's the other thing about Insigne too that I think people have to remember is we have not seen a healthy Lorenzo Insigne play for Toronto FC.
Exactly.
And so hopefully Insigne, like, they can figure out all those injuries that he's been dealing with. I feel like if we can see a healthy Insigne play for TFC with the way Bernardeschi is currently playing, those two are both capable of being 15, 20 goal scorers in MLS.
Oh, I mean, not even more than that. Like I could totally see him just running away with it a little bit, but they gotta be on cue and they gotta line up really good together for it to happen. But it can totally happen if they're healthy and they're clicking. When you're clicking and when you get hot at the right time, no one's going to stop you. No one's going to stop you. And I we're just waiting for that. We're just waiting for that. And I also want to talk about, Bernardeschi has been very vocal about this team. He's been very vocal about lighting a fire under people's butt. Very vocal about Bob. You know what? I was afraid it was going to happen, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew right away at the end of the year last year, and then going into the beginning of this year, that Bernardeschi is going to say something in the first 10 games. First 10 games, this is going to be – he's not used to something like this. He's used to Champions League caliber football. He's used to being on the national team. He's not used to something like this. So for me, this doesn't surprise me, and I think it worked a little bit, and hopefully it continues to work.
Well, that's the thing is, I know some people were saying that, like, oh, did Bernardeschi come here too young? And, was he, not really ready for it? And I'm like, no.
No, it's not that at all. Yeah.
It's not that at all. Like, let's not act like the retirement league mentality is a good thing to have coming into MLS. Bernardeschi should want to come here and
put your mic away from you a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Bernardeschi should want to come in here and win championships. And so Bernardeschi should want to come in here and be and have the team be the best he can be.
I agree. He reminds me of a Giovinco moment. He reminds me of that type of guy, type of presence. He loves being in Toronto. Insigne loves being in Toronto. There's always been reports of, Insigne going somewhere else, Bernardeschi going somewhere else. It's all rumors. It's fine. It's going to be fine. And once it clicks, watch out. Just watch out.
Exactly. Wait for it to click and wait for us to get a striker that can actually play with them.
I agree. Now, what do you think about the last roster spot? the international roster spot. What do you think we should get?
Yes. So, for those unaware, we have an extra international roster spot open. So, MLS, you have 8 international roster spots. We've traded one to Dallas. We traded one to Colorado.
Yeah.
We have 6 international players, but Victor Vazquez doesn't technically count because the Canadian teams get 3 extra international roster spots. Let's see, non-tradable international roster spots that have been registered. Players occupying these spots are required to have been played and been registered with a Canadian MLS club for at least 1 full year. So because Vazquez played for us for over a full year prior, he technically does not take up an international roster spot, because had he been in the US, he would have been able to get a green card or something like that. So yes, we have an extra international roster spot. 1 current international roster spot open, and we also have a designated player spot open. So I think those 2 definitely should combine. And the problem is we're so early in the season, and also early going into the we're going into the European free agent window too, which is always fun because you always get people finding out, looking up whose contract is ending that's on the wrong side of 30 that could potentially fit whatever system. And so I've seen people throw out Roberto Firmino. I've seen people throw out who else is getting thrown out? Someone threw out Giroud at one point.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've seen that too.
Yeah. It's not going to be a big money guy like that, I don't think. It might be but we definitely are going to get, it's going to be a designated player striker, international European experience striker. I have not actually put that much thought into who exactly it should be, but someone European experience, probably Belgian league level, I'd say.
Okay. Give me another Italian. Give me an Italian mid and give me an Italian forward. I don't care who it is. Give me that connection. We'll bring the Italian mafia here. But we need a forward and we need a mid. I think that's what we need to get. Or 2 mids. I don't care at this point. We need to get someone in those realms, and that can work with Bob Bradley. Because if Bob Bradley continues the way he's going, it's not going to end well for him. I know that we're tying and we won one, but we just can't lose. We can't let teams come back.
Oh yeah. Actually, now I'm Googling. I'm looking. I'm not pulling up Transfer Market, and I'm pulling up Italian strikers.
Oh geez, there we go.
This is the classic meme from last season of this is the how
Italian mafia,
yeah. Well, this is how Bob Bradley last season did his transfers. Was just pulled up Transfer Market and sorted Italians by market value.
Oh geez.
Who's old that could be potentially no one really on the strikers. Okay, let's see who played for the Italian national team in 2021.
Shoot, I mean, I know Bellotti was rumored with us. I know a couple other guys were rumored with us, but I'm glad we don't got
Bellotti. Oh no, Immobile.
No, don't do that. No, I'm good. Pass.
Stefano Okaka.
I would not be mad at that. I won't be mad at that.
Yeah, this is the guy. This is the random. Oh, Francesco Caputo. There we go. 32-year-old, 5 million transfer market value.
Oh, I don't
center
know.
forward.
I don't know.
Who? Oh wait, no, he's moving to Sampdoria already at the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Even get me someone that's played in MLS that has history here too. We got to grow the league with the players that we have and people that know the systems and know Bob Bradley. If you want to do something, get Bob Bradley's guys in there. That's what you did with Demande. And also, I would love Blessing here, but we missed out on Blessing. So
yeah. Blessing would have been a blessing.
Hashtag blessing.
Hashtag blessing. Yeah, more Bob Bradley guys. That's another interesting one. Just go full insane and get Carlos Vela.
Why not? I doubt it, but why not?
Oh yeah, it's not gonna happen. But like, hey, he's a guy who's played under Bob Bradley.
What do you? I mean, Salcedo didn't end up working out here, so I don't know if Vela can. So I don't know. Is Coelho Latino as well? Coelho,
Well,
yeah,
Spanish.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe another Canadian. Get a couple Canadian national guys that play for the national team. Maybe.
That's an interesting spot because the only one I could see coming would be Cavallini, who is completely fallen off the radar.
Oh, even Hutchinson.
Atiba Hutchinson, I think he's done with club football.
Yeah, I think he's done with life. I think he needs to retire. I love him though. Great captain, great leader, and everything. But man, whew.
Atiba will stick around for the Nations League finals, and then either that or the Gold Cup will probably call it for him.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think they're Atletico Ottawa made a bit of a meme post about saying, "Oh, if we get 50 likes on this tweet, we'll ask Atiba Hutchinson to come play for Atletico Ottawa." And they way past the like ratio, so maybe
why not?
It would be fun. I think it would be really fun to have Atiba Hutchinson play one season in the CPL, but.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a legend. I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Oh, 100% he's going to be in the Canadian Soccer Hall of Fame. He's Mr. Canada national team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but yes, TFC, we need a striker at some point, sooner rather than later. And it's just a search up transfer market until we find a suitable guy, I guess.
No, we'll figure it out. It's early, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully your injuries come back and maybe destroy that problem.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, best case scenario, Diomande comes back and Insigne come back, and we're scoring so much we don't even need to worry about bringing in another striker. But for now, strikers need to score goals. And we have 1 goal from strikers through 6 games this season.
Agreed. But that's it from me. That's all I want to talk about. I'm Italy Jet, man.
Yeah, guys, go check out Italy Jet on Twitter and your other shows. Do you have any shows you wanna shout out right now?
Let's Talk Sports. I know we got Let's Talk Toronto C on Let's Talk Sports. I do Jets and soccer content and try and do Red Sox content too. I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can WhatsApp me for more info if you want to collab and stuff. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, guys. So thank you all for watching this video / live stream. If you want to see more of me and Italy Jet talking about Toronto FC, let me know down below in the comments. We'll definitely make that happen. And yeah, if you like this video, hit like. If you want more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.
Peace.
Oops.